Welcome to Stroke Forward. My name is Marcia Moran. For the next 40 minutes or so, we are going to talk about things that stroke survivors, or any brain injury survivor, deals with. If you look at me today, you probably don't see a person who had a stroke, but I feel it. My body functions differently. Do I think I will get back to 100%? Yes, because to think differently is to admit defeat. We will talk to all sorts of people who have been there, from survivors to caretakers to doctors, nurses, therapists, friends, and family who have seen us at our weakest. They have cheered us with their victories, no matter how large or how small. How did we get here? That's what this show is going to tell you. Folasade Bangali is a skilled doctor of physical therapy with over a decade of experience building teams and optimizing processes and procedures. Although she has made such an impact on her patients' lives, she quickly grew to learn that her true passion was business development and developing a keen understanding of effective team management. She currently serves as the clinical director at Beltway Medical Group, a startup physical therapy and sound therapy practice. With over a decade of managerial and clinical experience and an MBA degree, she combines her passion for leading healthcare professionals and business acumen to optimize day-to-day operations. She likes to refer to herself as a clinician's clinician, someone who can create a well-oiled machine, but is comfortable living in the real world where innovation is imperfect at times. She enjoys establishing workflows, improving the visibility of the rehabilitation profession, and strengthening internal and external relationships. She also has a certification and training in Lean Six Sigma, where she uses data-driven and process-oriented approaches to monitor performance, develop client account plans, and deliver qualitative and quantitative insights to clinicians and customers. Moreover, she is a lifelong learner, and undoubtedly her biggest accomplishment is serving as a wife and mother of her 2 girls. Okay. I'm delighted to introduce Folasade Bangali to the show. How are you doing, Folasade?
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me.
It's really exciting to have you on because you opened up a physical therapy company called Beltway Medical Group in Fairfax, Virginia. Why is this different from other PT organizations?
There's a lot different with the Beltway Medical Group, but one caveat I wanted to state is that unfortunately I did not open it. I have 3 owners by the names of Drew Turney, VJ Shrestha, and Josh Yeager. I serve as their director of operations, essentially their clinic director for the physical therapy and yoga practice called Beltway Medical Group. What makes us unique truly is the fact that we are PT focused, meaning we focus on functional medicine, functional mobility, the patient's ability to ambulate, to walk, to negotiate stairs. And we want to keep the patient on their holistic and wellness journey by continuing their services with our yoga specialist. We have a holistic guru on staff. And what he does is sound therapy, yoga therapy, and meditation therapy. So we really care about the entire wellness journey of the patient versus just the outpatient orthopedic center.
Oh, there's so much to grab onto there. First of all, I'm going to talk about PT, if that's okay. Okay.
Sure.
What is the target market for your physical therapy clinic?
It is adolescents and geriatric population. I always tell people my best referral is a patient who is 65 years old, status post right total knee replacement. We love the outpatient orthopedic population, those who can still ambulate and or use an assistive device to enter the clinic, and then be able to navigate and negotiate our turf area, all of our upper extremity and lower extremity machines, our treadmill, and be able to transfer onto our mat tables.
Okay. How do you increase patient flow?
We're increasing patient flow by really focusing on who our target patient population is. For example, now that we have decided and we know that the orthopedic population is our best clientele, the neurological population is our best clientele, we target them, meaning where are they? So we're targeting home health companies that generally would see those patients in their home environment first, and then they are transferred to outpatient services. We're targeting orthopedic surgeons who would complete surgeries of the musculoskeletal system that would then need outpatient physical therapy services. We're also targeting those residents who live in assisted living independent facilities. Some in the area are called the Virginian or Brightview. We also target that population because we know there's a benefit for those patients when it comes to sound therapy, meditation, and yoga.
Interesting. I'm guessing that I would be a client because I've had a stroke.
Correct.
Okay. So say someone like me comes in for a visit. How do you get started?
Well, there's a couple of ways to get started. We always start off with an intake. And what an intake means is who are you, what happened, and how can we best serve you? So we always want to know from the patient's mouths themselves, what are your ailments? What are your restrictions? What is stopping you from living your best and full life? I've come to realize after these years, many years of treating as a clinician, is that what the doctor puts down as the referring physician is quite different than what the patient has to say. So we always taking that time to hear from the patient's mouths. Is it the walking that's causing your problem? Is there a fear of falling? What is actually the problem? And from that conversation, we're then able to determine the plan of care. So, for example, the patient comes in and says, hey, I'm having a really difficult time walking because I have right drunk foot. Thank you. Now I know that. And so now I can help you learn how to walk on turf, on concrete, on grass, and help you improve that drop foot.
Interesting. Yesterday, I had my first visit with you,
Yes.
and you said something about stretching that nobody has ever said to me before. So, do you mind repeating that for the audience?
Yes, we went through a series of stretches for your lower extremity, including a hamstring stretch, a rectus stretch, and an IT band stretch. And what's so interesting about those three stretches is the fact that you should be doing them before and after recreational activity, meaning walking, running, hiking, any type of recreational activity. Why? Because your muscles have to have the correct length before they can shorten.
Mhm.
Shorten means getting stronger, essentially. The muscle is contracting in a way. The problem is if you are not stretching before and after, then you're predisposing yourselves to a tear in a too short muscle that you were trying to shorten even further.
Yeah.
So although boring, it's very, very important to stretch before and after recreational activities.
Yeah. So I'm scared because I've never stretched before and after.
Yes.
So I guess I got lucky.
Yes, very,
Yeah.
very much so. Yes.
Okay. I'm interested in knowing then how long therapy lasts.
So again, it depends on how the patient presents. If there's a patient that comes in, each initial evaluation and follow-up treatment lasts 40 minutes. There is a ton of research that states that 40 minutes gives the clinician and the patient enough time to do an intake to find out what exactly the problem is with the patient, but then to also develop a plan of care and see that plan of care through in the patient's follow-up visits. So we do the visits in 40-minute time frames. Now, depending on again how the patient presents itself, the patient may come in 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 3 days a week. It really just depends on how much work or how much work they don't need, essentially. The good thing sometimes about starting off with 3 days a week for, let's say, 30 days at a time is that now we have room to decrease the plan of care. Okay. You can start off with 3 days a week for 30 days, and then the next 30 days, you go down to 2 days a week. And then the last month, you do 1 day a week. So essentially, you're tapering off your care, which most people like.
How do you reduce patient dropout? So they see your care plan and they go, "Oh, I'm not into that." How do you reduce
Yes.
that?
That happens all of the time because I tell people most times that physical therapy is a need. However, there's a certain level of commitment that has to happen from the patient in order to comply with the plan of care. So, although I tell the patient to potentially come in 2 to 3 times a week, I'm also asking, what does your day to day look like? What type of work do you do? Are you retired? And that's why the intake form and that time is so important because you get a better picture of the patient's life. And then you cater the plan of care to their lives. What's also important to make note of is that that's why we give home exercise programs. Because let's say the patient says, okay, I can only come in 1 day a week. That tells me those other 4 days of the week, I need to give you a comprehensive home exercise program that you have something that you can use that's still given to you by a skilled physical therapist. So that way, the days that you do come in that 1 day, those sessions are more productive.
Yeah, it was interesting because I had the exercises on my computer probably by the time
Mhm.
I got home.
Good, good, good. Excellent.
Yeah. So how are you different from your competitors?
What makes us different, like I said, is that we care about the entire person. Everyone at this point in life may have a little back pain, knee pain, but almost always it's accompanied by some stressor in life, some level of anxiety, some level of just the mere fact that we're all working and taking care of our families and taking care of our elderly parents. And what makes us different is the fact that we care about the entire patient, which is why our holistic journey is so important to us. We have a 400 square foot studio room here on site that allows the patients, like I said, that after they're finished stretching and exercising from the physical therapy standpoint, they continue on with yoga and meditation and sound. So we want to keep our patients in house and follow them through their wellness journey.
Let's talk about the sound therapy.
Mhm.
I found it really interesting. What is it about sound therapy that makes it like a therapy for well-being?
Yes, it makes it a therapy for well-being because now we're seeing a move or a shift away from medication management.
Hmm.
And so most times, let's say you go to the doctor's office, you have some level of stress or even migraine. The first thing they tell you is go and get over-the-counter Excedrin. Okay, people take that, they may feel better, but they haven't really addressed the true cause of that migraine or the
Hmm.
anxiety. What sound therapy does is allow you to become essentially one with yourself. In your session, you were in supine, you were laying down with blankets, with wedges. You were in a completely comfortable state, which again, most of us don't get on a day-to-day basis. And what happens is that the room is set up in a way where the bowls, each bowl has a certain level of frequency that is adapted to the level of anxiety, stress, pain that you have in your body. Okay, so you might have noticed is that when he hit the gong or when he had certain sound bowls around you, your body responded to it differently.
Hmm.
So it is just another form of relaxation, but it's also hands off, which gives the patient that level of comfort because massages help people too, but that it's tactile. Sound therapy meditation is also hands off, which is great, considering the fact that we went through COVID years ago. If we can keep that distance from the patient and the clinician, that also just helps to reduce any type of infectious diseases going spreading. So that's why we love the sound therapy.
Interesting. So what about yoga?
Yes, so same thing with yoga. I'll give you a perfect example. We have a 76-year-old patient currently on staff, and he's working with our physical therapy assistants for ambulation tolerance. The reason why he's having difficulty walking long distances is because he has extreme tightness in his hamstrings and his calves. So he may only be able to walk 30 minutes, but ideally he wants to walk 1 hour, 2 hours at a time. As he's completing his outpatient physical therapy, he will then be joining our yoga program, where our holistic guru allows him to learn different yoga stretches that go deeper into those calves and hamstrings to really allow the muscle to stretch to a level where it cannot go back to its contracted position. So the physical therapy has gotten rid of the pain, and now the patient is functional enough to be able to engage in deeper, more meaningful stretches, not just for the lower extremity, but again for the whole body. So that's why I keep bringing it back to we want to work with the whole person, the whole body, their entire wellness journey.
Wow. I think I need to come back.
We want you back.
How can you market to referring physicians?
Yes, referring physicians. I'm old school. I must say, I'm old school. I'm knocking on doors. I'm showing up to their offices. I'm doing simple Google searches for orthopedic physicians in the area, primary care physicians near me, holistic medicine physicians near me, and I'm going door to door, essentially as if I am a physician liaison. And I'm going to their front desk and I'm finding out what are their pain points. And in doing that, I found that most physicians' pain points is they have a patient, they have shoulder pain, the patient's been having shoulder pain, but they can't get a physical therapy evaluation for 6 to 8 weeks. And
Mm,
so because of that, the patient continues to go to the doctor, my shoulder hurts, my shoulder hurts. And they have no resources for the patient. Where we come in now, and this is the selling point, is that we have no wait time for a PT evaluation. And if even if we did, the patient can still start their holistic journey with us through yoga, sound, and meditation prior to receiving their physical therapy evaluation. And so that face to face contact, that simple marketing strategy really shows how serious we are and how warm and welcoming we are to show people that we want your business.
So is the holistic side of the business really interesting to the referring physicians?
Yes, for those physicians who believe in what we do, because not everybody believes in what we do. But like I said, we are seeing a shift in providers, especially because of the opioid overuse.
Hmm.
They need other resources for their clients. We know a physician can see 15 clients a day, and of the 15, 10 are suffering from chronic low back pain. There's only but so much Percocet, Oxycodone they can prescribe at a time.
Hmm.
And so, what these physicians are looking for are what other things can we offer to our patients, especially our chronic pain patients? Other than epidural injections, other than your opioids, what can we offer? And so that's where we come in. We say, yes, we have outpatient physical therapy, but we have this holistic part where it helps people reduce their chronic pain. It shows them other ways to manage their pain. So, in a way, the physician, BMG, and the patient, we all win. The physician found another resource for the patient. We got their business, and the patient feels better.
It sounds to me like you are the only one with a holistic part of the, yep. And
Correct,
so
correct.
do you think you will find others imitating you?
That is just the name of the game of being in business. I look at examples like Uber and Lyft. Uber was first, and Lyft took the exact same model and implemented it. But
Okay.
the key is that whoever is first, people will always remember. So, do
Okay.
I suspect that other clinicians or business owners try to imitate our model? Yes, but we were first. And
Okay.
that's all that matters.
So how are you different from your competitors?
So our competitors, I'll give you a perfect example. Maybe 500 feet away from us is another physical therapy company. But what they offer is physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, which in a way turns into a mill of services versus focusing on one thing and being really good at it. One thing to also remember is that physicians have the luxury of choosing PT or OT to service a patient's needs. Patients do not necessarily always need PT and OT because a physical therapist has the ability to do many of the things that an occupational therapist does as well. But by specializing only in physical therapy, it really creates a niche a situation for us. So that is what makes us different, and that's what makes us likely to continue to succeed.
Interesting. How do you develop a sales strategy?
Sales, business development, marketing, and leadership is what is going to continue to take us far. Sales can be difficult, it can be fearful, but I believe that we have created a strategy that is effective. We are contracted with almost every single insurance provider. So your Aetna, Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Optum, even Medicare, Medicaid. And we know we have a large population of those providers in this area. And so by contracting with all those providers, we set ourselves apart so that any member who comes, we know we can service them because we're in network with their providers. In addition to that, we also have several self-pay programs, which again makes us more marketable to more people. We all know, unfortunately, that sometimes insurances can limit what physical therapists can do for a
Mhm.
patient, which can be tough. But the way we've combated that is by giving out in offering self-pay packages. So that way the patient has options and then can determine what works best. And this is included in our holistic journey. Our holistic journey is completely self-pay, but we have packages that are offered to the patients to see which one works best.
Interesting. Okay, you've got your sales base and we've got patients coming in by the boatload, right?
Mhm.
How do you motivate the team to achieve their goals?
My first question is always, what motivates you? And I'll tell you, I'll tell you, you would never believe what I heard. It was food and chocolate and goodies. And so that told me exactly what I needed to know because I asked, what motivates you to do your job well? What do you need from me to do your job well? Although I'm the director, I tell my team all of the time that you are my boss because I need to do whatever I need to do to make sure that you are successful. I tell them that when we are successful, you are the ones are responsible for it. But if and when we fail, I'm responsible for it. So that really puts the onus on me as the leader and lets them know that I'm here to support their needs and their development. And so what do I walk in with on a day-to-day basis? I walk in with donuts and coffee and chocolate because it keeps my team going.
I'm glad I'm not working there because I would be
Yeah,
so big.
it's true because I asked, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I think is most important for leaders to understand when building a team.
Mhm.
What motivates your team? So that way you don't have to guess and check.
Yeah,
So
that's
yes.
right.
Mhm.
So how do you develop a successful marketing plan?
The market plan, like I said, is going well right now. We're doing a lot of face-to-face marketing, networking at large events. Because we have already identified who our ideal customer is, which is the largest or most important thing. We've identified who that customer is. We now need to go find where they are. And like I said, they are the patients that are in the doctor's offices saying, my shoulder hurts, my knee hurts. I've had back pain for 10 years. That's where they are. So where will you find us? In the doctor's offices. Our patients for sound therapy and yoga, they are in these assisted living facilities. They are in their rooms. They're at the activity center. They're working with the enrichment coordinators at the facilities. So where will you find us? In the enrichment facilities. Because we've identified who our patient population
That makes
is.
sense to me. Yeah.
Mhm.
What does it feel like when a patient makes progress?
Amazing. It feels amazing, but what's even more amazing, and I tell people this all the time, I want to be a source. My team, we only want to be a source. We don't want to be the complete sole responsibility for the patient's wellness, which is why we incorporate home exercise programs, which is why we incorporate things that the patient may need to purchase in order to comply with what we're telling them to do. We were not always going to be next to your side. But what we want is a situation is that where we've taught you enough where now you have a toolbox so that if you fall, if you fracture your hip, if you bump your knee, you open up your toolbox about what everything BMG taught you and you pull out what works best for you.
The one thing you would want to leave brain injury survivors or their caretakers with knowing, what would it be?
Short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. And what I mean by that is that initially you are stressed, you're tired, your brain is not comprehending things the way they normally would. You are almost in a way mourning the life you had prior to your injury. But now you open yourself to a new normal.
Mm.
But with that takes a lot of time, energy, endurance, power, and encouragement. So you must endure during that short time. And that's what I mean by short-term sacrifice, where you're doing your exercises, you're going to PT, you're going to OT, you're going to speech, you're using the brain stimulators, you're constantly following up with your neurologist. It's very taxing, extremely taxing on not only the survivor, but also their caregivers, their caretakers, their families. But remember that during that time, it's very short. So you focus on the fact that you are busy and you are focused on being well and recovering and learning the things that you need to create a new normal for long-term gain so that you can write stories and you can tell others about your story because you endured it all in a very short period of time.
Yep. Is there anything else that you want to tell people?
That physical therapy, the practice of physical therapy, has its downfalls, when it comes to insurance and people understanding the value that we bring to the healthcare system. I want to let people know that Beltway Medical Group, we are here, we are new, we are fresh, and we're taking a different approach on wellness. We want to make sure that we are a part of a patient's wellness journey from the physical therapy all the way through their health and their wellness and any other disorders they may be encountering. We want to be a part of people's families and we want to be a part of their stories. Because again, short-term sacrifice for long-term gain, because you will get better. You will create a new normal. And when you go to tell people how you did it, we want you to write in there, Beltway Medical Group to help us do it.
That's awesome. How do people get in touch with you?
Email, phone, fax, call, show up. As a startup, I would say any and all ways. If people wanted to get in contact with me directly, people can call on my phone. You can call the office. You can email our team. What I love these days is when people just show up to our facility. We have an amazing storefront, complete door windows so people can see us. We can see the community as they're walking past our doors. We also have a beautiful website. That's how you found us. And you can write a note on our contact page and we get back to you that way. So we are accepting all new patients and we are ready here to serve you all.
Beautiful. So I would
Yeah.
say that going to your facility was really spectacular for me. And I'm so
Thank
happy
you.
that I was there, not only for the therapies that I got, but you were so kind.
Thank you.
And everybody there was very pleasant.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you. We
yeah,
really appreciate that.
yeah. So thank you for taking the time to talk with me. It's been wonderful.
Of course, yeah, same here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to Stroke Forward Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like it on Facebook, LinkedIn, or anywhere else you heard it. If you want a copy of Just Say Yes to Life, please order it from Amazon.com. The proceeds go to Stroke Awareness Oregon, an amazing nonprofit that educates about stroke causes, prevention, and treatment options. The book, Stroke Forward, is also available on Amazon.com.